Hello everybody, it is your good friend Bob blah blah back again. I got something different for you. It is my first impressions and my first review of Crysis 2. Downloaded the demo, got a little bit of gameplay on it. I didn't play a lot. I certainly did not get good at the game, but I think I got a handle on how the game is and how it plays. Couple things. Oh, the first thing I want to say, I am a Call of Duty fanboy. So any first-person shooter that I review, I'm going to compare to Call of Duty. I don't care what anyone says. That's the game I like the most. The Call of Duty series is what got me back into gaming after taking a long hiatus, and I really think it is the gold standard. It's the most played, and therefore it should be the standard that everything is compared against. If you compare it to other games, a lot of people might not know how they play. So you should compare it to Halo, Call of Duty, and maybe Battlefield, because that's the first-person shooters that everyone plays. Here's the entrance into the game, and you'll see it takes a while, but once again, it's a beta, so I'm not going to hold it against the Crysis team, whoever made this game. I'm not Crytek, I think it is, that it took a while to find a lobby. It's a beta, there's not that many people playing it, and once again, that's what a beta is for, to get all these kinks out. So it takes us a while to get into the gameplay here. Now, the first thing I will say, I really only play Call of Duty games and maybe some sports games. So I am immediately leery of any first-person shooter I play that is not Call of Duty, and I'll tell you why. The reason I love Call of Duty is it's got an amazing frame rate, 60 frames per second, and it just feels beautiful to play. And the controls are as tight as any game ever made. The controls are just amazing, okay? So starting with that, let's talk about Crysis. Crysis is an interesting game. It's very different. First off, the graphics are incredible. The graphics are easily... By the way, I have no idea what's going on. When we first got into this game, weird stuff was happening, and I didn't know how I died there. I didn't know anything, and I just sat here for a while. But once again, I really have no idea what was going on. The graphics are incredible. They are better than Call of Duty's. They're probably the best first-person shooter graphics I have seen. The textures are great. The lighting effects are awesome. The water effects when you run underneath water, which hopefully you'll get a glimpse of in this game, is amazing. It's incredible. One thing I want to tell you about is this game type. I'm playing Crash Site. The demo has two game types, Team Deathmatch and then Crash Site, which is very similar to Headquarters in Call of Duty. Basically, a pod drops every once in a while, and you go, and if you're within that circle, your team gets points. And so basically what you want to do is kill the people around the crash site, which is right there where it says clear. And clear means there are enemies in that area. I have no idea, by the way, how that guy did not die through that whole thing. And you get points basically by being near that pod. In fact, in this game mode, the MVP is chosen by who is near that pod the most. So you don't have to get any kills. We actually had one of my teammates, CMS, in another game. He was the game MVP, and I think he had 3 kills. So it's kind of a cool thing. They're trying to reward people for sitting by the objective, I guess. It's also kind of weird, because if you have a team of Slayers, you could probably get 0 kills and still be your team MVP just because you laid down near the flag, which is kind of weird. So let's talk about the controls, because I think in any game, that's the most important thing. Graphics are great, but easily the most important thing is controls. They're definitely not as fluid. They're definitely not as responsive as Call of Duty's. There's no doubt about that, and I don't think anyone's going to argue that. There's a slight bit of lag compared to Call of Duty. The aim down sights is a bit slow in moving. It's just not as quick like that. With armor on, it takes 3 melees to kill. Typically, it is 1 hit with a melee. The control layout is just like Call of Duty's, so it's really easy to learn. The only difference is in order to throw a grenade, instead of hitting right button, you have to press right on the D-pad and then throw it. Which is kind of annoying, but hey, I like to run and chuck my grenades, but you know, it's not that big of a deal. You'll see this little film around the outside. It looks like a beehive around the outside of the screen right now. I hit the left button, and that brings up what's called your armor. And armor basically gives you Juggernaut for a little bit. It's pretty darn powerful, but you can only use it as long as you have energy, which is in the lower right-hand corner, that white bar, and it drains your energy. Once you drain your energy, you can't use that. I'll show you a little later, Stealth, which also drains energy. You can only use one at a time. Stealth basically makes you look like the Predator, if you know what that is. You're almost invisible, but not quite. You also have another thing that I'm not sure if I use in this game. It's infrared. You can basically look at people, so you can see people and stealth, whatever, and you hit that, I think, by hitting down on the D-pad, I believe. And that's another thing you can use to drain your energy, or to use your energy and to give you a heads up on other people. So back to the review, you know, the controls are a little laggy for me. They're definitely not as refined. And in that case, it's a clear win to Call of Duty, or even Halo, in my opinion, has slightly better controls. Let's talk about the, as far as the sound. Sound is a huge part of a game. Any big gamer loves the sound in Call of Duty games. Black Ops not so much compared to COD4 or compared to Modern Warfare 2. As much as people hated Modern Warfare 2, it probably had the best sound effects and sounds of any game I've played. I mean, you could tell directionally where someone was by their footsteps incredibly in that game. In this game, the sounds are kind of weird. In fact, I would say the overall awareness so far is kind of different. In Call of Duty, you tend to know where someone is shooting you from. You tend to know just where other people are. You get a good sense of the map. The sounds in this game just do not work yet. And I have a very nice headset. The sounds did not help me very much. Every once in a while I could hear somebody, but just overall, hearing where the guns come from, where they're shooting, the directional sound definitely needs some work. As for this game mode in particular, once again, I am just sitting here. I'm not doing anything, and I'm racking up a ton of points. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. And as you can see right there, do you see how many bullets it took to kill that guy? And I was aimed right at him. I had 4 bars. It's definitely more of a Halo style of kill. You want to get a lot of headshots, and it's going to take a lot of shots to kill somebody. One thing I will add, the melee is a one-hit kill unless you have armor on, and at this point it's a bit overpowered because it takes sometimes, it seems like 10 or 20 shots to kill a guy, so to have a one-hit melee is really bad. I got into a couple lobbies where there were guys who only meleeed, and it was pretty frustrating because you would shoot them over and over again and then they would one-hit melee. So far I think it's a fun game. There's nothing inherently wrong with it. However, I do think it's going to have a short shelf life similar to, say, Medal of Honor or Battlefield. Whereas Call of Duty, people will play and play and play until the next Call of Duty comes out. If you look at Medal of Honor, it died almost immediately. It sold millions of copies, and yet virtually nobody plays it anymore. Battlefield, same thing. It has a bigger fan base, but nothing compared to Call of Duty. I think you're going to see the same thing with Crysis. A lot of people are going to jump on the bandwagon early. They're going to play the game. And then they're going to step away and realize, you know, it's just not as fun. And I don't know what it is, whether it's the prestiging in Call of Duty, whether it's the fact that it's a modern-day military or close to modern-day military as opposed to robots. Whatever it is, there's something about the Call of Duty series that keeps people coming back. Not just Call of Duty fanboys like me. I mean, millions and millions of people keep playing Call of Duty for a reason. There's some addictive quality there that I think's missing in this game. Now, this is a 1-level beta, so that's a pretty tough judgment to put on him. But it's just how I feel, and I think it's going to go very similar to how Medal of Honor went. Meaning, a lot of people will pick it up at first, then it's going to slow down. If you saw the grenade there was a number. That's not a countdown. It actually tells you how many meters away the grenade is. The other thing is, you'll notice the UAV is on the lower left. That, for me at least, took quite a while to get used to. I do not like it. I much prefer in the upper left. Now, that's a little bit unfair because that's what I'm used to, but man, it took me a while to start looking at the left. The kill feed is on the upper left, and once again, that's just kind of weird to me as well, but I'm just a Call of Duty fanboy, so that's what I'm used to. So overall, I probably won't buy this game when it comes out. I might rent it if my friends start to play it. But it doesn't really offer me anything. They have pro perks, they have kill streaks. It's a Call of Duty variation, but the handling and the control is just not where I like a game to be. It's definitely, that's where it falls short of Call of Duty. So that's my 2 cents, guys. And once again, I think it's worth a rent, but I think you're going to see the community fall off pretty quick. So that's it, guys. Thanks a lot, and take it easy.